Academy. I am coaching now.
Yo, what up, homies? Thanks for tuning in to another episode live from my PlayStation. First things first, pause the video, hit like, hit subscribe, and then hit that share button and let people know what we're doing out here. So this is the second episode. Steph Curry, Virginia Tech. We're headed out to the Great Alaska Shootout. So this will actually be a doubleheader. Maybe a triple depending on the results we get and how fast the games go. But our first round opponent, Eastern Washington, once again, it's a mismatch. We're way better than them. We should handle them, especially if Steph is doing what he did that first game, which was just silly. 6 for 7, 12 for 13. That's a problem. Just taking a look at Eastern Washington, none of their players, warranted any real defensive adjustments, any real defensive coverages, specific type deals. We put Washington on Williams, I believe. No, Hinton. And other than that, we were just going to straight up play basketball. And lucky for us, Vasayo and Curry continued to do what they had been doing. We shot a real high percentage in the first half. It would slow down a bit in the second, but the first half we were what I hope Vitek is going to be all season, which is a team who you can't play zone against because our shooters are lethal, and they're going to shoot high percentages. Right now, Curry is shooting a silly percentage. Vasayo, he's more human right now, but it is what it is. You see us breaking down the zone inside out. Here we're playing defense, but we give up an open shot, and I don't like doing that even against the bad teams because it's a bad habit. And bad habits you get punished for versus the better teams. So, when you're playing these teams who are not on your level, you don't want to allow poor. I'm trying to think of the word. Can't do it while I'm watching the video. But you don't want bad tendencies to become the tendency, to become the norm. So right now we're inside out in their zone, we're inside out in their man. They can't really cover us in post. So most of the time when we post up, they have to double. And that leads to a lot of open shots for us. Travis, he's a redshirt senior coming off the bench. This guy, he's another guy who can really shoot the rock. He's shooting a good percentage right now too. I think he's about 38, 40, somewhere, which is a good percentage for me. In that range. There we go. We let Hinton get a shot off. He's the one guy who could possibly get hot, but I don't think he can get hot enough to keep them in the game with us when we're shooting like this. This is the first half still. Trying to think here. We didn't get to 50, but we got pretty close. And looking at the bracket, I almost assume that our second round game would be against Butler. I don't like to assume we're going to win, but splash, I don't like to assume that early. So here were the first half stats. We're shooting 79%. We were just getting whatever we wanted, being real patient on offense. And the second half was pretty much, more of the same. We were just dominating the game. And I think this is an extended clip of the defense I'm playing against them. This play is tough to defend, but it's a play that we also run. So I kind of know where all the screens are going, all the cuts are coming from. And the key on this game to playing defense is to not give up open threes. And defensively try to contest without fouling. And so, that's what we try to do. Get into a groove of clicking on and repositioning players, putting them back in the right position so we can play defense and, of course, splash it, That's what we do. And so from here on out, the game was academic, man. It was even 26 points. It wasn't that close. And so, hey, Eastern Washington, do what you got to do, man. We will see y'all next year. But now on to our second opponent, which ultimately would be Butler. And Butler, they're always tough to play against because they're a mid-major, but they're a strong mid-major, so they don't get the best players, but they got a lot of guys who by the time they're juniors and seniors are good rotation players, and so their team unity is always high. They're coached by Brad Stevens. He's solid on here. This is right before everybody knew how good he was. So it is what it is. We're taking a look at Steph Curry stats up to this point, and it says in the draft, he's a top pick. I'm hoping we can keep him for at least 3 seasons. That is the goal, because once he graduates, the series, it goes with him. But we looked at Eastern Washington stats. Nothing special. A lot of names you'll forget. Taking a look at the bracket. On the other side, Gonzaga and Tech. If we win, we play the winner in the championship. If we lose, we'll play the loser in the 3rd place game on the other side of the bracket. Which there is another side of the bracket. That's cool. I like this game had that. The consolation brackets is a part of these tournaments. But here we're in the 2nd round. Taking a look at Butler, as we expected them to win. Butler is always tough to beat, no matter what team I'm playing with. Even if I'm playing with a top tier like Memphis or North Carolina, they're tough. Graves, Campbell outside, Betco even, and then inside Howard. That guy, even as a freshman, the long curly hair dude you're about to see. Oh, Adam Morrison looking bro. He's always tough. So my defense versus them is to put my big man on Howard and just try to force 2-point attempts, because they will really bust you with this backdoor pass. You're about to see the Dukes. This is the part that makes them so tough, because they'll make that shot over and over again. So you got to defend against it while also defending against the 3-ball. But we're Vitek and we splash. Right now we are really splashing. We are making it rain in Alaska right now. Like I said, they run good offense. I think the higher your team unity is, the better your screens, your cuts, your passing, all that type of stuff. And so, and the effects, like one big play really gets your team going and your confidence going, and that's when a team gets really, really tough to beat. And so it's hard to put them away. It's hard to play with them depending on what kind of talent level you have. Luckily, we got shooters, and 3 points is more than 2. Once again, splash. Delaney, our freshman, Delaney, Curry, those 2 kids are just playing really, really well right now. They're doing their job, which is they're running the offense. And we're surrounded by some upperclassmen who are also just doing their job. So at the time, for the moment right now, we're looking pretty good. We'll see who we really are when the ACC play begins, because those are hell games every night of the week. But for right now, I love this play. Splash. He comes off the double screen. Sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes we get a good screen, sometimes we don't. But Curry, you give him an inch, he's gonna take a mile. And so far this season, we've been taking the mile. Here, this is the guy. Campbell has a 98 3-point rating. What do you think of the first half, Bill? And so he can really, shoot us out of the gym. Like, I'm not even playing. I've played games against them, and he's gone off for 30 coming off the bench. Here again, we're lazy defensively. I always try to run out and get my hands up, because that seems to be the best way to contest, other than if you have a really athletic kid and you get the block. But if you don't, just put your hands up. You get enough of a contest that they'll miss, and that's all you really want. You just don't want them making shots. Green spent a lot of the game making layups on us against our big guys, and we have 2 of them who can block shots, and I don't like seeing that, but it is what it is. I'll eventually learn how to say his name right there. Starts with a D. I can't pronounce it. Here, lazy again on defense. I gotta not be so quick to leave the paint. Like, honestly, AJ Graves can shoot a layup if he wants to. Like, I'll live with him. Here we get a real good contest on Howard. We were playing that kind of D on him all night. Like, Howard was not going to beat us. Washington, that dude got bounced. I love Washington. I'm trying to get him, involved with some alley-oops later on, but for right now, his athleticism, it's noticeable. It is noticeable. And I like that about this game. The really good athletes, you can feel it. Here, good offense. Vasallo with essentially the nail in the coffin for this game. He was definitely the best player on the court tonight. The freshman, Curry had a very pedestrian night, man. Kind of more of the nights that I was expecting. Here we force a 3 by Dukes. That's their center. But yeah, Curry, awful pedestrian in this game. The team, we still, we cooled off in the second half. I don't know what that is. I don't know if our opponents are adjusting to us or whatnot, but those high percentages we get in the first half because of our offense, they dip in the second half. We go through these lows, and sometimes it'll keep games close. Butler, we're still better than Butler, but they're much more like an ACC team than the first couple opponents we had. Here, as you see, yes, Curry only had 17 points. Still shot okay considering, another make here, and, he goes off, and it's crazy like the first couple games, but, this game was Vasallo doing what he can do. He just didn't consistently do it. And throughout the season, we got to get him more consistent, because that'll really put us in a position to be, go from somewhere between 6th and 5th in the ACC, and maybe battling, North Carolina.
Look at me. I am coaching now.